Welcome, folks. There have been three versions of Donald Trump. My generation, Donald Trump, the rich guy, the mogul, the guy was on all the talk shows. There was Donald Trump in the earlier 2000s who was on a weekly show on national television. And then there was President Donald Trump. Once upon a time, America loved Donald Trump. He was a beloved figure in American pop culture. He was the guy you thought of when you thought of like a rich guy, a mogul, a powerful guy. Women loved him. Men wanted to be him. The politicians and celebrities loved him, especially the politicians that wanted his money. And as you recall, he had a major hit show in the earlier 2000s, The Apprentice, that had extremely high ratings on NBC, of all places. The people loved him. Celebrities loved him. And he was the toast of the town and was asked in every single interview he ever did with high profile hosts, "Are you going to run for president, Donald?" Fast forward, he has the audacity to run for president, and overnight, the same people who cheered for him act like he's the villain in some kind of a horror movie. So let's walk through the timeline, the interviews, the flip, the receipts, especially the things supporters say he did for minorities before and during his presidency. Before I get into all of that, if you could kindly, please click that subscribe button. Please click like, share, comment, click the notification bell for all the latest episodes. We got Donald Trump in 20 minutes or less. The Quick and Dirty with Joe Rosano is next. Welcome to the Quick and Dirty in 20 minutes or less. I am Joe Rosano. In the 80s and 90s, Trump wasn't a polarizing figure. He was pop culture. He was on every talk show. He was on the cover of every magazine. He was on every radio program, and every host asked him the same question. And those hosts are Oprah, Larry King, Barbara Walters, Dan Rather, David Letterman, Howard Stern, Charlie Rose, Regis and Kathy Lee, CNN, MSNBC, all asked him the exact same thing: is, "Are you running for president, Donald?" For decades, the media treated him like a celebrity who might run for president someday, not a monster. People who once loved him, laughed with him, suddenly accuse him of every extreme thing imaginable. Figuratively speaking, they practically threw him into the KKK, slapped every label on him, and pretended they never invited him on their shows. Oh, please. These are publicly known entertainers, athletes, business people Trump worked with or associated with long before he ran for president. Are you ready? Muhammad Ali, Don King, Mike Tyson, Russell Simmons, P. Diddy, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Dennis Rodman, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Oprah. We know that. It's all over the internet. And yet, they hate him now. Ran for president, and I don't know, that must have flipped some kind of switch. Now, his supporters often cite these relationships to argue that he had longstanding ties with minorities, entertainers, athletes, politicians. Supporters point these publicly documented clemency or commutation cases. Think about this. Think about who he let out of jail: Alice Marie Johnson, Crystal Munoz, Tanise Hall, Rodney Clemens, Otis Gordon. I mean, I got to ask you, you could take a look at him here. Did anybody stop to think Did President Obama do this? No, he did not. Donald Trump did this. Yet everyone hates him on the left. I've never seen anybody hate another human worse than Donald Trump is hated. I'm going to go so far as to say when they call him Hitler, that's not doing it justice. They hate him worse than they hate Hitler. That's the truth. Think about this. He passes bipartisan criminal justice reform supported by many minority advocacy groups. Permanent funding for HBCU, that is historically black colleges and universities. They basically used to ask for funding every year, and Trump said, hey, look, here's funding in perpetuity. And he signed legislation stabilizing federal funding for historically black colleges, opportunity zones aimed at investment in underserved communities. And yet, the most hated person that I can think of that has ever walked this earth. Supporters emphasize there is no verified evidence, and this one bothers me, or any credible sources of this whole pedophile thing. Now, I got to tell you, folks, this I do not like. I really don't. If you vote for Donald Trump, you voted for a pedophile. If you support Donald Trump, you support pedophiles. No evidence whatsoever, and I get it. I get it. He was at that creep's house. I'm not saying his name. Dancing around with some girls, only to find out they were a bunch of NFL cheerleaders who were all too happy to dance around with Donald. All the girls were then. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Love him or hate him. The timeline is real. The interviews are real. The flip is real. The accusations that they make about him are real. It was lawfare when he was running for his second term. Try to take away his property, although there were no victims. Try to throw him in jail. Try to impeach him when he was president in the first term, every chance they get. And then when he left the presidency, they still tried to impeach him. The receipts are documented, folks. These actions are real. You don't have to like the guy. But pretending he wasn't a cultural icon before politics, or cutting his scene from Home Alone 2, pretending he wasn't asked about running for president for 30 years, pretending he didn't sign criminal justice reform or HBCU funding, that's rewriting history. Right there. And around here, folks, we don't rewrite history. And again, if anything that has anything to do with Donald Trump, and that is his businesses or how much money he makes while he's president, or anything that he did with that creep, again, there's no evidence of that. Let me tell you what really bothers me is, where's the victims? We have the internet, social media, the 24-hour news cycle. Every single one of these victims would be on television right now with a lawyer, figuratively speaking, like Gloria Allred, describing what happened between them and Donald Trump. They would be describing his body, describing everything. And anybody says, well, they're scared. They're scared. They don't want the powerful Donald Trump to come after them. E. Jean Carroll didn't seem to have a problem. It's my understanding she's still alive. This pedophilia thing, really, I really wished, I got to be honest with you folks, I really wish some of you would knock this off. This is ridiculous. And you lump everybody who ever said hello to Donald Trump as a pedophile lover. Anybody who voted for Donald Trump, which is almost 80 million Americans, pedophile protectors. They vote for pedophiles. Stop doing that. Bring me the evidence, and I'll report it right here. I'm talking the evidence, not him dancing with NFL cheerleaders that are like 25 years old. None of that stuff. Once again, I do appreciate you hanging out with your pal, Joe Rossano. Please, kindly, Please kindly click that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and click the notification bell for all the latest episodes. Please take some time to adopt yourself a pet. As always, my dearest friends and fellow Americans, I say God bless you, and we will see you next time.